I think I'm a pretty good hype man for other people's stuff. If my friends are writing a comic or drawing a comic, you'll be the first to know because I will tell the entire world about this awesome thing that they're working on. If you make cool ass masks that have been featured on hit HBO shows, I'm telling the world. That shit is dope. If you make ugly Pokemon out of polymer clay and sell them, damn sure I'm gonna tell people because that's cool. Like I'm very good at telling the world and telling friends and telling absolute strangers about all the cool things that my friends are doing. And they don't even have to be like close friends. They could be just people I meet online and have had a good conversation with. Like, I will hype the shit out of that person's stuff. When I go to the climbing gym and if I see you struggling on a bouldering problem and I don't even know you, I'm gonna be there hyping you up from the mat, just saying, you got this, you got this. If you need somebody to hype you up, to do something that you are kind of afraid to do, I am the person that you call. I will be there for you to hype your shit up, to tell you all the good things about you and why you should do the thing that you're kind of afraid to do, but you know in your heart that's something that you need to be doing. But for some reason, it doesn't work for me. I'm a very bad self-promoter. You know, I try to let the work speak for itself, but you have to tell people that you make things for them to even know to look for things that you make. Part of me feels like I'm annoying people by talking about myself and talking about the things I'm making, which is a little weird because I don't mind when my friends do it. I don't mind when my friends tell me about things that they're writing or comics that they're working on or projects that they have coming up. I get excited about that shit and I want to tell other people like, oh, my friend is doing this awesome thing. That's fucking cool. Or someone else I know is doing this other fucking thing. And it's amazing. I get really happy for them. So I don't get annoyed when people I know talk about their shit. But for some reason, for me, it just, I don't know, it's this weird block. So yeah, I guess if I was to make a New Year's resolution, which I don't really do, it would be to be more active in promoting the things that I make, to tell people that I do things, to just get out there and say, oh, I made this new thing, you should check it out. So with that in mind, I've just created a new brush set for Procreate, and I want to tell you about it. The JN Pixel Brushes are a set of 7 aliased brushes for Procreate. I talked about this brush set on a podcast with my friend Brandon Chalmers. We have a podcast called The Fucking Do It Cast, a part of the Hard Knock Media Podcasting Network. Our podcast is basically me and Brandon getting together semi-weekly to talk about things that we like or things that we're doing or things that we're having troubles with. I guess our genre would be slice of life. And if you're into that kind of thing, check it out. Anyway, the story of the creation of these brushes and why I did it also explains the very niche use case for these tools. So let me just play the clip.
Jamie Noguchi, what have you been geeking on?
So randomly, I started making Procreate brushes. I forget what weekend it was. It was like a 4-day weekend. We went away to like some cabin and I had brought my stuff to work on. Well, at least I thought I did. I brought my laptop, I brought my drawing tablet, and I forgot the cords that attached the tablet to the computer because whatever.
Yeah.
And so Audrey had her iPad with her, and I was curious about the brush situation in Procreate. So when I ink my comics, I ink them with aliased lines. So if you zoom in, you'll see the jaggies. There's pixelated.
Okay.
When you turn on anti-aliasing, the program tries to make it look smooth. So when you zoom in, instead of jagged black lines, you'll see shades of gray, which are really transparent, different levels of transparency.
Okay.
To make the line look smooth.
Okay.
Which is fine if you're just doing stuff for the web. Nobody notices. If you are printing stuff out and you're printing anti-aliased line art, you'll see a little bit of a fuzz around it. And it's only noticeable if you're a dickhead. Like if you're Joe Schmo average person looking at a thing, you're not going to notice. So I realize this is a very niche thing to give a shit about.
Can I throw a flag on the play here?
Yeah.
I think the more educated creators are on the things that might not necessarily matter, but will elevate their game in both industry understanding, so this way somebody can't be an elitist shithead to them in a conversation, and also just a active choice of that perfect versus done. And if this is something simple that you can do to make your stuff just a little fucking tighter,
Yeah.
why not?
Well, that's the thing about Procreate. So every digital art program that I use professionally, Photoshop, Clip Studio Paint, which are the only two that I actually use, there's an option in the brush settings to turn off aliasing or turn off anti-aliasing to turn off that smoothing stuff.
Okay, gotcha.
And when you print those lines out, they look so crisp. And when you reduce those lines for web, they look a little bit more crisp. Now, everybody has a different kind of monitor and all this other kind of stuff and all that good shit. So, but to my eye, it looks a little bit sharper. It's not necessary. It's a feature that I like. It's how I work. And so I wanted to see if Procreate had a similar feature. It does not built in. Like, you can't take a normal brush from Procreate and turn off the anti-aliasing effect.
Interesting.
What you see is what you get.
Okay.
But you can create your own brushes, and you can start with an alias silhouette. So I figured out how to do it with like a basic round brush. And then I wanted to see how far I could push this and see like what other brushes I could create. Because like, one of the things that people in the digital art space talk about when it comes to like, oh, different ways you can make money. You can make your own brush presets and all this other stuff. And I'm like, I could, but I mean, I just use everybody else's stuff or the basic brush.
Right.
I use the basic brush for all of my inking because I don't want to learn how Clip Studio does its stuff, but also like I feel like spending too much time with the brushes is focusing on the wrong thing. I should be focusing on getting these stupid pages out. But anyway, yeah, like I never thought I would give a shit about it, but now I wanted to be able to, if I needed to, work on the iPad in Procreate creating lines that I do on Clip Studio Paint with the alias brush. So I was messing around with it over the vacation, and there's a lot of options that say words that don't make any sense. It's a lot of turn this on, turn this off, slide this over, slide that off.
Okay, so
slide this on, slide
it's
that.
just a terrible amount of trial and error.
Yeah, because the words describe a thing that you think means something, but it doesn't mean what you think it means. So
wait, are you telling me that even in the art world, words don't actually mean things? Is that?
Yeah. Now it could be that I am an idiot because I haven't looked at the documentation that would possibly explain these things. And I haven't watched any tutorial on how that would explain these options, but I always turn the shit on or off and on and off.
Jamie, hang on, let me fix that. Time Magazine's own Jamie Noguchi. I refuse to believe that you're an idiot, and I think it's the program that's wrong.
I mean, they know what it means. So somebody knows what it means.
Yeah, I get that. That's fine. But like we're now getting into the nitty-gritty, and like that means that your average trained professional publishing Time Magazine's own artist has trouble navigating your art program.
Yeah.
I gotta believe that maybe you might just be making some shit a little harder just to gatekeep some motherfuckers. Just a thought.
It's possible. But I figured out how to make brushes that they don't do exactly what I need them to do, but it's close enough. It's never going to be a one-to-one experience because the Apple Pencil and the Huion pens they draw differently. Like this has no give to it. Like there's no spring loaded in anything on the tip. So it's like,
have you considered, is there replacement tips that are softer that you can?
There are tips that are softer, but they all suck. I've tried them all.
Okay,
they all
gotcha.
I don't care what the advertising says.
Gotcha.
Even if they paid me as a sponsor and said, "Hey, we'll give this to you if you do a video on it," I will do a video on it, and I will make fun of your shitty tips because none of them work.
That is not actually true. And Jamie Noguchi is willing to accept your money so long as you're very clear about what you're looking for.
Yeah.
We will come right up to the edge of what you're looking for.
Yeah. I will make a video about your product, and I will tell the people,
but fair.
I will tell
That's
the people
the Noguchi
what
way.
I think about the product, and 10 out of 10, they all suck. These are cheap as shit, but they're spring loaded, so there's a little bit of give, so it feels pretty close to actually using a brush or an ink nib. So I prefer using these over the Apple Pencil. So the feel is never going to be one-to-one, but I got the technical aspect of the brushes to work pretty well. I made a couple with like different levels of bleed, like when you ink with ink on paper, as you draw a line, sometimes it bleeds out a little bit, and I like that look, that kind of chunkiness, to get rid of the digital look. To sometimes shit when you draw on the computer looks too smooth. Yeah, I like a little bit of grit in my lines. So I made a couple of brushes that do that. I made some rake brushes that have like a texture to them, and like you could do parallel lines, and then like a hatching brush. And I put them all together, and I put them in a set, and I'm selling them on my website. I've sold like a handful, but I understand why, because it's not a fancy brush. It doesn't like make flowers or glow or anything. It's very utilitarian for a very, very, very specific audience. But it was cool. It was fun to put together. And I'm working on another set for lettering. And it's probably going to be like 4 or 5 of them. And it's, again, probably going to be really cheap for now. I mean, that doesn't mean I won't raise the prices later.
That's right, friends. So if you act now, you too can draw just like Jamie Noguchi. Now I know what you're thinking, but Brandon, I can't just randomly draw like Jamie Noguchi. You're right. But you can take the first step in the right direction by using the same exact tools that Jamie Noguchi uses. Now, don't wait. Buy now. But guess what? If you decide to buy the brushes, if you decide to draw something with those brushes and share those with Jamie Noguchi, there's a good chance not only is he going to follow you on social media, he might actually interact with you. And hell, he might just share your stuff and give you the moral support that you've been looking for. Deadbeat dad, Jamie Noguchi. Mom walked out, Jamie Noguchi. Little brother's haunting the house, Jamie Noguchi. That's right. You too can draw just like the angry Zen master himself. Go ahead and hop on to monstercutie.com. Go ahead and hit that. Buy yourself a Big Kahuna Bot desk mat. So this way you can sit your iPad down and have the inspiration that is Jamie Noguchi while you draw on the subsequent iPad with the disappointing Apple Pencil with the absolutely terrible tips, but most importantly, using the great brushes, and then dream the impossible dream of what sort of things you'll be able to letter once Jamie Noguchi comes out with his magical lettering set. That's right. So you can just go ahead and follow Jamie Noguchi on any sort of thing. If you type in Jamie Noguchi into a Google machine near you, you'll be able to find him, his thoughts, his wares, his ideas, and more importantly, his brushes that then can be your brushes. Bring a little Noguchi home with you today.
I gotta get you to do like shitty ads for me and stuff.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah.
I think I just need to I'll draw a line, but it won't look right, and I'll just be like, damn it! There has to be a better way!
So if you're interested in my brushes and you think you have a use for them, you can purchase them at my shop, monstercutie.com. I also have them on Gumroad and Coffee or Creative Market. I put them there because those are trusted marketplaces for digital tools and things like that. But I run my shop through Shopify, and that's a pretty trusted vendor. So monstercutie.com. I'm working on an aliased letterer set, which would be useful for people who want to do handwritten comic dialogue or need aliased lines for big sign prints. And I'm doing some exploration on brushes that might be useful for creating textures for backgrounds and grunge and that kind of stuff. So there are 2 more sets that I'm working on. Maybe through that process, I'll come up with some other ideas. But right now I'm focusing on aliased tools that will be useful for printing out your illustrations from Procreate. Give it that nice little sharp edge to those lines that, maybe other people won't notice, but you'll notice and I will notice. If you have other ideas for aliased brushes or tools that you might think would be useful in Procreate, please let me know. I'll see if I can figure out how to make stuff. I'm pretty new at this, so any update that I make to any of these sets is going to be available for free. Any of those updates for free. Like if they change the brush engine and I need to tweak some things, that'll be cool. Or maybe if I want to add like a brush to the set that I think would be super useful and it fits within those categories, I'll do that. And those updates will always be free because, thanks for checking it out. I hope this, however long it was, advertisement for my brush set wasn't too obtrusive in your day-to-day. And yeah, thanks for watching.